Alright, I'm going to be playing some Thrasher, Skate and Destroy for the PlayStation 1. I'm getting ready to release my full review, which will be going up tomorrow. But for now, these are just some quick thoughts, some first impressions of the game. For any of you who haven't played this game before, this should give you a good idea of what it's like. So, I'm going to be playing with the character I just beat the game with, because you have to slowly unlock tricks and things like that, and it'll just be a little more interesting to watch. So when you start a level, your run doesn't automatically start. You can free skate as long as you want. And you can hit select at any time. And see, I'm playing on expert mode, which does that. You actually have to hit the landing button in order to land a trick. If you don't hit it, then that will happen. Alright, so let's go ahead and start a run. This is a contest level, so I have to just beat the score. Actually, every level, all you have to do is beat the score. But there's that. There's the penalty, and there's also no cop at the end who will chase you out, and I will show you that soon. So the controls for this game, if you've never played it, are much different from any other game, any other skateboarding game that you may have seen before. You hold the square button to do an ollie. You see it'll say ollie, like how you do it. If you hold triangle, you'll do a kickflip. And then other tricks, you have to actually hold the directional button before you let go. So kickflip, if I hit left, it'll be heel flip. Right, it'll be 360 shove it, down, all those sorts of things. So it'll actually make you turn as you're ready to do the trick. And that actually means that tricks act differently. You know, if you're gonna do a heel flip into a ledge, you actually have to plan for it. You can't just roll up and then decide at the last second what you're gonna do. So I actually do like that about the game. I feel like I'm probably not gonna win this contest because I'm trying to show you all this stuff. But that's basically how it works. And spinning, you can ollie and try to spin in the air like that. But even if you do a full rotation, it won't count it as anything. You actually have to hit the spin button, which is circle. So as you get further and further in the game, you will unlock spinning tricks. So half cab, kick flip, backside heel flip, all those things, they unlock separately, which is interesting. Just because you can do a heel flip doesn't mean you can do a backside heel flip, which is, of course, how it works in real life. Oh boy, I better hurry up. I don't know what my goal here is. Well, I'm not gonna make it. Okay, so I'm gonna just try another level. I'm going to be editing out most of the load times because they are extremely long. You'll see more about that in the review. So here are my sponsors. You get to pick your sponsors and the different things. I thought it was weird that you pick the color of your shirt as the word for the color instead of actually seeing it. It's kind of weird. All right, let's go ahead and pick another level. Okay, let's get started. So one thing this game does is it will penalize you for doing the same trick too often and also for skating in the same area too often. That isn't uncommon in skateboarding games, but it seems like it's much more dramatic in this game because, as I mentioned before, the only thing you do in these levels is get high scores. You're not collecting anything, you're not trying to unlock anything, you're not trying to drain the fountain or anything like that. You're just simply trying to do really good tricks. So it's more important, your score is the most important thing. And when you're trying to just keep doing different tricks over and over, you'll end up realizing that there's really not that many. I'm gonna start a run here. You'll realize that there's not that many tricks in the game. Now I have them all unlocked now. You can do nollie. Let's get started again. So you can do everything in nollie and regular. You can do spinning tricks, but there's probably, I don't know, 10 flip tricks. If you hold down L1, you can do some different stuff. Like the big spin flip. So you can do a 360 flip, or you can do a big flip if you hit L1. So there's not that many tricks, and I kind of realized that that makes sense given the time. This game came out in '99, and if you watch any skate videos from back in that time, almost the entire video could be made up of 10 different tricks. There was a lot of stuff that you just weren't allowed to do in the 90s. So if you do an impossible, they were really out of style at the time. You couldn't do one. If you did like a varial kickflip, you'd be laughed at. You could do kickflips, heel flips, 360 flips, hard flips, and like spinning variations of those. And that's about it. You try to do no complies, bonelesses, you know, anything interesting like Casper flip, nothing like that. You just couldn't do it. It was just really judgmental kind of time in skateboarding. And it makes sense that this game only has so many tricks. The controls don't really allow for that many more, but you could probably squeeze in a few. Maybe you use R1 and L1, that kind of thing, but that was just the 90s. That's how it went. And it's kind of interesting that the Tony Hawk games had so many. All right, so you're gonna see something interesting here.
I need to talk to you.
Oh boy. Oh, no, not now, not now.
I got you
Oh,
now.
okay.
Thanks for the board, chump.
So expert mode, you gotta be very careful to hit the landing button. So what happened there, at the end of most of the levels that aren't contests, you're attacked by either a cop in almost all of them. There's one level that has a dog, and this one has a mugger. So if you get caught by the mugger, you lose, and you have to start over. I'm not going to skate this level again, but that'll happen. And if I had some speed going and I wasn't about to fall over, then I would have been able to escape from them, either by finding an exit to the level or just getting really far away. And let's try the Brooklyn Banks. And so when you are running away from whoever it is, you can do tricks and they're worth triple the points. So that's kind of cool. It helps you if you're having trouble with a level, you can always try to gamble and see if you can do it with that bonus. So this is Brooklyn Banks. This is another contest run. This one's a little earlier in the game, so I shouldn't have too much trouble beating it. But I was talking about how in the 90s there were only so many tricks you could do. It was interesting in retrospect seeing the Tony Hawk games and how they had every trick in the world just crammed in there, and that was one of the claims to fame of the game. You could skate anywhere and you could do any trick pretty much. And I think Tony Hawk himself was kind of above all the trends and all that kind of stuff. There's a trick tip video he did, Tony Hawk's Trick Tips. I think it's volume 3. He has Mike Vallely in the video, and he wants to show how to do a pressure flip, which has been uncool for decades now. And he doesn't care. He'll just do it. But Mike V sees him, and he says, like, pressure flips, and he storms off set, and he refuses to help teach that trick just because it's so uncool, you know? But Tony Hawk, he doesn't care. He's been skating since the 70s, you know? He's seen all this stuff come and go. Skating is skating to him. And so I think that may have been a factor in why his games had so many more tricks. Thrasher was, and still is, one of the most opinionated skateboarding voices that are out there right now. Even as far back as the 80s, they're judging everything. Even when freestyle was big, and they were praising Rodney Mullen in every issue and showing sequences of all his tricks, they would also complain about how freestyle is just not rad enough, you know? And so, having the Thrasher name on it, I'm actually not gonna get the, wow, that was pretty close. So even at the time, Thrasher was pretty judgmental, and being involved in this video game, they may have had a list of tricks that were acceptable, as far as I know. Another thing interesting about this game is the subtitle of the game, Skate and Destroy. I don't know if any of you guys know about how far back that goes, but I've been reading some early Thrasher issues from 83 and 84, And they were using that term back then. In every issue, there would be some kind of discussion about these 3 different skateboard mantras that you could live by. There was skate and destroy, skate and create, and skate or don't. And you would see kids that would write in and just having all these arguments about which one is right and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of weird to see because it's just if you don't know about them, skate and destroy is just like being rad, you know, being like a rock star and destroying stuff and just, you know, being cool. Skate and create is more like, you know, let's build stuff. This is an artistic form that we all get to enjoy together, that sort of belief. And then there's skate or don't, which was basically just saying, I don't care, as long as you skate, you're cool. And it's weird to think that that was something that people would have cared about, but it was such a big deal. And this is maybe 15 years after that, and they're still using the skate and destroy label. It doesn't really mean anything anymore, though. Alright, so this level is one of my favorites, the China Banks. It's just cool to skate such an iconic spot, and Thrasher is the most realistic skateboarding game out there, so it's got more of a feel to it, like what it would really be like. You know, even Skate to a degree, although the animation is really good, and although it's not Tony Hawk level of ridiculous, it's really easy to do anything you want. You can do a 360 hard flip into something, and it's just no big deal. This game probably has the most legitimate skateboard feel, I would say. It also has the best wall ride. We'll try to do one in a second. Oh, well, that didn't work out. I don't know what it is about that wall ride. I think it's just the sound effect. It's just really satisfying. So spinning in the game, I showed you how to do, you hold circle and you hold the direction. You know, you can do 360s. It's kind of weird doing vert. If you do it at an angle, you do an exact 360, so you might end up under or over rotated. The game is definitely not designed around street. You know, this is 99. Vert was just starting to come back, but it was still really uncool. Alright, so let's see a cop. Let's see, maybe I'll have a little more success this time.
I see one! Here, hold my bear claw.
Not sure how
Hold
far
right
behind
there,
I am on
chump.
score.
Boy, I said stop! You are in violation of San Francisco Civic Code 141-80.
It's actually pretty hard to get away from those guys. You kind of have to plan it out and be by an exit just to be safe. If you're going full speed, you're about the same speed as them, at least with the characters I pick. So if you're actually trying to do tricks, it always slows you down more and more. So these days, this game is about, well, maybe $10 or so. And I really think that everyone should try it. You could, of course, download the emulation version and all that stuff and give it a try. I just think it's cool to have it and have it on the shelf. Just have a piece of skate history like that. So I beat the game a little bit ago and captured all the footage. And this was one of the hardest levels to do. You're probably not going to see me beat too many because I am on the expert mode and I'm on the extra high score thing. You'll see all that in the review. You have to replay the game a couple of times to unlock everything. But when you get this far into it, it's really hard. You have to plan out every trick to make sure you're not repeating anything too much. So you got to vary everything. You got to use different parts of the level as much as possible. And you got to do the longest combos you possibly can. When I'm just playing around, I'll generally do 360 flips over and over and over. So the different characters in the game have different skills. So this guy, I forget his name, Roach, I think. He is more of a tech type of skater, so I can do ledge stuff, you know, like that. And that's a really good way to get points. I'll see if I can show you some gaps. You do get points for doing gaps. Ugh. If I would make that, it will say in the corner like big air or suicidal or something like that, and that's worth extra points too. but it is a little bit tougher, there we go, to consistently build a run out of that. Oh, especially when you're gonna do that. So if it's your first time playing this game, I would definitely pick one of the tech guys. It definitely gives you a big advantage up front to try to get through it. All right, let me do an earlier level and actually beat one. Okay, let's give the subway a shot. In this level, there is actually a train that goes through, and if you do a trick over, it's worth a ton of points. But as I mentioned, I am playing a tech skater, and it's generally not a very safe thing for me to try. This game has really good 90s like Run DMC style hip hop. I usually don't talk about the music in my reviews because I can't play any on YouTube. They'll send me straight to Google jail if I play even a little clip of it, and I always have it turned off in my recordings. But it is actually pretty cool. You know, it's just really 90s feel. It kind of takes you back, assuming you were around back then. And I just realized I did not start my run yet. That's something that'll happen to you a couple times playing this game. You kind of forget that you have to do that. I was doing pretty good. Oh, there goes the train. Something else about being a tech skater is that there are some gaps that would be impossible. Like, I'm not sure, yeah. That one, I don't think there's any way that I could land that. Different skaters you could, but of course your balance will be a lot worse when doing all the tech stuff. So there is some replay value in that, just because it changes your strategy for the way the level is played. Oops. Ugh. All right, I gotta beat one. I will beat this one. So the way that these tricks look for the most part is not that good. Some of them are actually just straight up wrong. I know I complained about the hard flips in the Tony Hawk games. I have a whole video about that. But the one in this game, at least the fakey one, fakey or nollie one, is just terrible. It's clearly just a pop shove it. Oops, that's the wrong direction. It's hard to remember all the controls. Yeah. Might not have been the best camera angle, but it is a pop shove it. There's no denying that this is a pop shove it. Look at that. It doesn't even go straight up vertical or anything. It's just a shove it. The regular one is not so bad. You can't do it on flat. All right, so it turned green, meaning that I can get away. And I go to the exit.
I see the delinquent.
Just barely made it. So that's how it's supposed to be done. All right, so this will be my last level that I show you. This is South Bank, and it is the second to last level in the game. It is very hard to get the score, but it is a lot of fun if you're just kind of messing around. Don't fall, don't fall. The balance in this game is really hard. Okay, I broke my board, so I gotta start again. So I recently played Shaun White. I reviewed that for the channel a little while ago. And one of the things about that game is that it's not difficult to do skateboarding related challenges. It's more difficult because you're trying to change the rails, like the shape rails and all that kind of stuff. But the actual plain skateboarding stuff, if you were just to free skate after you beat the game and just kind of mess around, the actual skating controls are not that hard. In this game, they are very hard. So even with this guy who's really tech, he's got good balance, you can land wrong on a ledge and just go uncontrollable and just fly right off. So when you actually put together a good trick, it feels good. It's satisfying to actually do something. And it's fun to actually plan out a trick and pull it off. In Tony Hawk, you know, it's not a big deal. Skate's a little bit better, especially with the filming aspect, but in this game, it's really satisfying to just successfully do something that's so hard. There's also some hidden areas. I think you can launch into that. Great. There's somewhere in here that you can get into. Let's do some vert. So I got it mixed up. There's some weird grabs in this game. Not method. I don't remember which control it is. Okay, the frigid air. You don't really see that very much. So there's very little chance that I'm gonna beat this level. I don't remember what the score is, but it is interesting because they redid the cop for this stage, so he is actually British and has an accent, which is pretty cool. There's another level where there's a dog that chases after you and he barks at you the whole time. They did put some effort into this game. There's some polish there, and you unlock videos when you complete a level, like an area, I should say, like a city. You can take pictures to be in Thrasher. I'll show you that in the review. Alright, so I am no doubt going to be tased right now.
Ignoring trespass ordinance, are we?
Yes, I am. So one of the tough things, if you get too far away, if you get too far away, you can't see where you're going, and you'll end up turning, and you'll just hit something. So you definitely just want to get the score as fast as possible and exit the level. All right, so that's about it that I want to show with Thrasher. It's a really good game. If you haven't played it, you should definitely give it a try. You can check the full review on my channel tomorrow to see some more in-depth analysis of it. But I just thought I'd give you a quick taste of what the game is like. In the comments, let me know what you think about these kind of videos. I did one for Sean White, and some people really enjoyed it. So is this something you would like to see of games before I review them? Is this something you would like to see in place of reviews? And if you don't care about those, just let me know. I can make more or less of these in the comments. Thanks for watching.